is Kim. Most people just call me Kim though. I'm currently living in Hanoi and I'm a freelancer. And I guess it's all about me. In this video, I want to talk about an aspect that I think should be taken into consideration when we talk about gender equality. I want to start my talk by asking you guys a question, but you have to promise me that you will answer it with honesty, okay? Okay, here's the question. When you think about gender equality, is it true that your first thought, your very first thought, is to give women and not men the rights and opportunities they deserve? I'll give you guys a couple of seconds to think about this. Tick-tock, tick-tock. Finished? Okay, now I'll make a wild guess. Most of you said yes, even though it sounds so wrong, horribly wrong even, to admit it. But you said yes, just like I did. And if I was right, then it leads to some dissenting opinions like, what about men? Men need to be acknowledged too. Well, this is true, because the definition of gender equality is the act of giving women and men opportunities and rights equally. And I do understand that gender equality is a human fight and not just a women fight. I get it. However, I do believe that in strictly following this, some people neglect a very fundamental aspect when we talk about gender equality, and that is gender blindness. So what is gender blindness? I actually found numerous definitions on this, and it seems to vary based on the context, but for this video, allow me to pick just one definition for it, and that is treating men and women equally, regardless of their biological or historical differences, or how they can be differently affected by a scenario due to their social status, roles, or priorities in their life. Now that we've grasped all the meanings of all the terms that I've mentioned, I want to get this straight. To me, gender blindness does not equal gender equality. Apparently, at first glance, you might think being gender blind is getting us closer to gender equality. I mean, complete lack of bias in who we choose for a position or an opportunity of some sort. It's wonderful, right? It sounds wonderful. Yet, we have to keep in mind that women have special needs that must be met in order to make amends for what we have experienced in the past, that are a long history of suffering and disadvantages compared to men. Now pick a period, just a random period in history, and you'll see how men have always been so privileged, and they don't even recognize it, because privileges are invisible to those who have it. Meanwhile, women have always been considered to be a weak, emotional creature that cannot really make up our mind. Now, unless you're talking about what to have for breakfast, then I'll give you that. For some reason, as women just don't know what to have for breakfast, or dinner, or lunch. But other than that, it's not true. However, the idea is already so ingrained in everybody's mind. And even now, women doesn't have a voice when it comes to decision making. Not to mention our biological imperative of pregnancy, birth, child rearing in the first few years. And it's not like we can go back in time and fix our mistakes, or we can change women's biological features, right? So for that reason, I do believe that women deserve as many, if not more, opportunities and recognition as men. And the next time someone complains about how gender equality seems to just revolve around women, they should take this fact into consideration. And listen, I'm by no means saying that we should ignore men, or we should turn this into some kind of misandry. But what I'm saying is that we can work together, we can work our way towards gender equality by treating both sexes in the same way, equally, but also being considerate of their biological and historical differences. And that is the future generation that I want, where we actually achieve gender equality. Thank you for listening.